With this video, we're gonna be hydrating. Hi! Welcome back. I'm sorry, it's been a little bit since I put up a video. Shit happens. This is actually the second time I've recorded this video because the first time the memory file got corrupted. So, today I am not in the kitchen, but I am going to be talking about something book adjacent, because that's kind of my conception of this channel. It's like all the things I like, which are like books, writing, food, and today we're going to be talking about writing because I want to talk to you about multi-point of view books. And you may be like, Sasha, why should I listen to you about writing? I don't even know you. I've seen you mess up food before, and that's not a really confidence-inspiring thing. The real answer is that you don't have to listen to me because you shouldn't take writing advice from anyone too seriously just because of their credentials. You should just be like, that could be useful to me. I'm gonna put that in my toolbox. And so me saying I have a degree in creative writing, I do. I'm saying this just because I want you to know that's why I'm thinking about these things. And I'm also thinking about multi-point of view stories and writing in general because I've been thinking about tension in stories a lot because I wrote a book over quarantine. If you follow me on Twitter, if you are a friend IRL, you probably know that because I won't shut up about it because writing a book takes a long time. And so when people ask you what you're doing, you have to just say writing a book, even though it feels like, yeah, I'm writing a book. It's like, it was my only answer. So yeah, I don't know. That's why I'm making this video. 1, I think about writing all the time because I'm a writer. 2, I wrote a book and I read a lot. 3, I read a lot. So yeah, okay, good job, good intro, excellently done. Moving on. So the point of this video today specifically is to talk about multi-point of view stories. There are ways to do multi-point of view that I personally enjoy and ways that I personally do not. And you may agree with me, and you may be writing a multi-point of view story, and you may want to listen to what I'm saying and internalize some of it and think about why you're writing a multi-point of view story, why you've chosen to do it this way. Lots of hand movements. I'm gonna be a gloving writing channel. So, to talk about multi-point of view, I am going to use The Priory of the Orange Tree. I think Priory of the Orange Tree is a great example of a multi-point of view story done well. Priory of the Orange Tree is a sweeping epic fantasy telling the story of 4 different people from 4 different points of view across this grand epic political empire. It's kind of your textbook epic fantasy. So because each character is getting their own story and each point of view has their own dramatic arc, things feel fresh and there is movement in the story and there is tension. So yeah, I think what I mean to say is that 1, Priory is using multi-point of view to make the world feel bigger because it is telling a huge story across 4 different people and you're seeing all different parts of the world and it's just telling a more total, complete, it's giving you a more complete picture of the world. My second point is that because Priory is multi-point of view, it is able to create a sense of tension and movement in the book in a way that you might not be able to in a single point of view. What I mean by this is Priory is very smart about when it starts and stops each chapter. When one character is going through something particularly slow or something the reader might not actually be that interested in reading, the author is able to skip to a different point of view character. But more importantly, by deciding when to stop at each chapter, she's creating a sense of space and anticipation. So for example, if something very dramatic happens in the next chapter, it ends on a cliffhanger in a typical single point of view book, you would have that sense of tension and then you would flip to the next chapter and you would find out what had happened in the previous chapter. But in a multi-point of view book, by creating this space, Samantha Shannon is able to kind of keep you on the edge for longer. So she'll bring you to the edge of one scene, oh, you flip to the next page, fuck, it's a different point of view. And then she can bring you to the edge of that scene, flip the page, oh, it's a different point of view. Yes, a good multi-point of view book is just like edging. You've heard it here first. Multi-point of view is just edging. Thank you. I will take my YouTube award now. This brings me to my last point, which is that this tension is not just brought about through what I described before, that bringing you to the edge and keeping you again and again and again turning the page. It's also through dramatic irony, which is when the readers know something that the characters do not. So two great examples in Priory. One, Ede, which is one of our point of view characters, belongs to a secret magic society called the Priory of the Orange Tree. Meanwhile, Loth, our other point of view character, as far as Ede knows, has been banished to a dragon kingdom where he will probably never return. But we, as the reader, know that he is actually being kept in the Priory of the Orange Tree. So when Ede herself returns to the Priory of the Orange Tree, we as the reader are thinking, oh, thank God, she's gonna find out her friend Loth is there. But Samantha Shannon does not show us them meeting for chapters and chapters. And so you have that inner sense of tension of, oh my God, when is she going to figure out that her friend is in the same fucking place as her? Oh! Similarly, another one of our multi-point of view characters, Niklaus, I have complicated feelings about Niklaus, but he has the depression, and we watch him go through this great change of heart where he decides, I am going to be a good grandfather to my ex-lover. I am going to stop throwing my life away. I'm gonna do something with my life. But as he decides this, we, as the reader, know that that granddaughter was in fact beheaded a couple chapters ago. So, in summary, Priory of the Orange Tree uses multi-point of view to build tension into the world, show an expanded world that you could not necessarily do in one point of view, and create a sense of movement in the book. Now, I want to talk about ways that multiple points of view in a story can damage your story. And when I say damage, I mean can get rid of the tension, can make things confusing, can make things boring. Basically, the opposite of the things that I just described with Priory of the Orange Tree. Now, I will not be using any specific books here because I fear being an asshole, and I know the minute that I'm like, I didn't really like this book is the minute that somehow that author gets tagged on Twitter, and I don't want that. Just because I did not personally like the way that they did multiple points of view does not mean that they should be ridiculed. And yes, I'm saying this with the thought that someday my book might be out there, and I don't want people to be an asshole to me either. Karma! So let's talk about the ways that multi-point of view can fail. One, the more points of view that you have, the less time you're giving your reader to be interested in your characters. I just read a book where this happened. I had two characters that I was really interested in. I felt very invested in their love story, or rather, I felt the potential to be very invested in their love story, but so much of the book was given to other characters and not even necessarily main characters, sometimes just side characters to show something else is going on, to show something cool, show a cool fight, or just as a convenient way to express some information. You have such a limited time as an author to make people like your characters. You do not use multi-point of view sparingly and very precisely. You are just making it very hard for people to fall in love with the characters that you love. You know, people will automatically love your characters, even though if you say, she has the fattest ass in all the land, it's not enough. Sorry. It'll work on me because I'm gay. So, anyway, point two. Like I talked about in Priory of the Orange Tree, each character in that point of view had a very satisfying emotional arc, a character arc, where they started off thinking they needed one thing, feeling one thing, and ended it learning a lesson, realizing they needed something else. This is like a very simple way to think of a character arc. Obviously, there's lots of different ways a character can grow and change in a book, but the problem is that if you are writing a multi-point of view book and you are not thinking through each character arc for each character, you might not show them growing and changing at all because you haven't given them enough time to do so, because you've split your book into essentially 4 different mini books. Samantha did split her book into 4 mini books, and this is how it looks. This is the size of my head. My third point, just as a good multi-point of view can add tension in the ways that I described in Priority of the Orange Tree, multi-point of view books can also detract from tension by telling us too much from both points of view. Now, again, this is just my preference, but I think especially in romance, some books do this very well, but if both point of view characters are each other's love interests, isn't the heartache and drama of having a crush on someone not knowing how they feel about you? I think just in this specific instance, if your readers know that both of your characters have a thing for each other but haven't been able to express it, and that is where your tension is coming from, you're just making it harder for yourself to, because imagine if Twilight had been a split point of view book and Edward was also in there, and on the second chapter he was like, anyway, I'm a vampire. Actually, that might be kind of sick. So this is my whole point. It was basically like, you know, these things can be done really well, but they are worth thinking about with intentionality. That's it. And that kind of brings me to the point of this whole video, which is just to say, if you are writing a multi-point of view book, I want you to sit down and think, okay, what is this bringing to my book? What is it taking away? What am I losing by doing this? And when someone asks me, why did you decide to make this a multi-point of view book? Can you look them in the eye and say, because XYZ. This is all I want for you as a writer, and for me as a writer, is to approach your work with intentionality and with care. Because I think the best books are written with intentionality and with care. Thank you so much for listening to my video today. As a little bit of assigned reading, if you want to read 2 books that I think do multi-point of view in a very interesting way, that is not Priority of the Orange Tree, your kind of how to get funky with it reading is Hair of the Ninth by Tamsin Muir, which Hair of the Ninth is the sequel to Gideon the Ninth, for the record, and The Fifth Season by N.K. Jemisin. Both of these books are and are not told in multiple point of view. I know that makes no sense, but if you read it, you'll understand, and I think are great examples of ways that authors have really sat down and said, okay, how am I using this tool in a way that I find really interesting, then that is really making my book fresh and unique. So that is all I have for you today. I hope that you found this interesting. I probably will make more writing videos because it's something I think about a lot. I would love to hear down in the comments if there's anything specific that you would want me to talk about regarding writing. Thanks for watching this video, and check out my socials. That's what the cool people call it. Alright, have a good day everyone. Bye!